Archangel Michael warns on September 13. Someone you love was mentioned in a dark ritual last night. You have 2 minutes to protect them before the curse lands. The heavens have stirred. The veil between the seen and the unseen has thinned, and September 13 is marked in the spirit realm as a day of uncommon activity. Not because of chance, not because of cycles, but because the enemy has launched a premeditated assault cloaked in shadows. In the midnight hour, while the city slept and voices were hushed, a dark gathering convened. A circle was drawn, candles lit, names whispered. Among them a name that pierces your heart, someone you love, someone close, someone whose soul your spirit is tied to. But this is no ordinary attack. This was targeted, strategic, and ritually spoken. Archangel Michael has descended with urgency. This message is not for every ear. This alert is not for the lukewarm, the indifferent, or the spiritually blind. This is a classified dispatch for the spiritually sensitive, for the chosen who can feel when something is off, for the called ones who can sense the hair rising on their necks without understanding why. You are hearing this because you were meant to hear this. And the one you love, they were meant to be covered by your obedience. There are things moving now, quickly, silently, invisibly. The dark realm is banking on your delay. The demonic countdown has begun, and they assume you will be distracted. But heaven says, you have 2 minutes. Not to speak, not to panic, but to align, to act in focused stillness, to protect with silence, obedience, and spiritual precision. Why you? Why now? Because the enemy overplayed his hand. Because heaven saw the setup and interrupted it with this prophetic alarm. You have been given insight before the curse can settle, because the one you love is not meant to carry what was spoken over them. You are the interception. You are the intervention. You are the holy firewall standing in the gap. You do not have hours. You have moments. You do not need answers. You need alignment. This is not just a warning. It's a divine assignment. Type "I receive this" in the comments if you've been called to stand in the gap. Blessing code 777 has now surrounded your family. On the threshold of September 13, the atmosphere shifts. The air grows heavy. The spiritual veil thins. This is not an ordinary date. It is a spiritual checkpoint, a date etched into the eternal scroll of warfare and warning. From the heavens, the Archangel Michael descends, not in silence, but with a sword of flame and a message of fire. He comes not for all but for the called, the chosen, the awakened, those whose ears can still hear the trumpet in the Spirit, those whose hearts burn when heaven speaks. This is not a general broadcast, and you must understand that. This word, this warning, this moment, it is not entertainment, it is not curiosity. It is intervention. It is rescue. It is a divine intersection of disaster. Last night, in the hidden corners of the earth, veiled in shadows and cloaked with deception, a dark ritual was performed. And your name was not the only one whispered. No, child of light, someone you love, someone who walks within your circle, was mentioned in the silence of a curse. Their name was spoken, not in love but in vengeance. And heaven heard it. The earth groaned beneath the sound. A wind shifted as the spell was uttered. But Michael, God's warrior, heaven's commander, was already descending, his sword drawn, his voice roaring like thunder across realms unseen. He saw what was said. He knows who said it. And now he speaks to you. You have been granted 2 minutes, not for panic, not for confusion, but for obedience, for alignment, for divine stillness. Before the curse completes its journey, you have a narrow window to reroute its path. A sacred moment to shield the one you love from destruction's shadow. And this moment demands stillness, not fear. Clarity, not noise. Obedience, not delay. You may wonder, why them? Why now? Why me? The heavens do not reveal all at once, but this you must understand. Your alignment is the key. You were chosen to hear this warning because you are the gatekeeper. You are the one who can stand between harm and the one you love. There is something about your voice, your anointing, your yes, that heaven respects and hell fears. This is not fiction. This is not fantasy. This is a prophetic dispatch from the warfront of the unseen. You are being summoned, not by man, but by heaven. And the clock is ticking. Type "I receive this warning" in the comments if this word has found you. Blessing code 777 is now activated over your loved ones. Certainly. Let us now move into section Roman 2. Opening hook and invocation, following the divine rhythm of this revelation, with deep urgency and heavenly weight. Archangel Michael is sounding the alarm. The heavens are not quiet. The watchers have been stirred. The scroll has been opened. The name has been read. The sword is drawn. The judgment is pending. This is not an ordinary day, and this is not an ordinary message. This is a moment of divine collision, where the realms of light and darkness brush shoulders and the future of a soul is determined by the obedience of another. This is not about fear. This is about positioning. This is about your hearing. This is about what you do next. Heaven's armies are not passive. They have been awakened. They have been assigned. And they have been released. God's host is moving, and Archangel Michael is leading the charge. He has not descended with a suggestion. He has come with a command. He has not come to coddle, but to confront. For someone has dared speak a name under the shadow of ritual fire, and that name belongs to someone you love. You weren't just chosen to know this, you were chosen to intersect it. Even now, the curse is moving. By sunrise, the mark will attempt to settle. By sunrise, the energy will shift. By sunrise, the poison seeks to embed itself in emotions, in decisions, in health, in relationships, in the life of the one you love. But hear this clearly. Only one thing can halt it: your spiritual obedience in this very moment. Not delay, not debate, not distraction. Your stillness, your focus, your silence, and your prayer. You are not here by accident. You didn't scroll into this by randomness. No algorithm brought you here. An angel did. The Holy Spirit permitted this encounter because you are trusted. You are trusted to receive what others would ignore. You are trusted to act when others would freeze. You are trusted to lift your voice in a moment where silence can kill. Because of you, someone else will live. You may feel the hairs on your skin standing. That is not anxiety, that is awareness. You may feel your spirit trembling. not from fear, but from the weight of divine instruction. Take a breath. Listen deeply. This message is not for everyone. It is for the few who have been chosen to carry fire when the night is thickest. Archangel Michael is not speaking to the crowd. He is speaking to you. Heaven has not forgotten the one you love, and neither should you. The one whose name was whispered in the circle of shadows. Their destiny now depends on your positioning in the light. Your next 2 minutes determine the shift. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's not about knowing everything. It's about being willing. And heaven is watching. The angels are circling. The curse is surging. But you have the power to break it. Close your mouth to noise. Open your heart to spirit. Stand still. The Lord your God fights for you. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 1212 is now active and the shield of Michael surrounds your loved one. There is an unseen ripple in the atmosphere around you. Can you feel it? That strange stillness that clings to your skin when you enter certain rooms. The tension in conversations that should have been light. That inner dissonance that starts to whisper when someone's smile doesn't quite meet their eyes. You've been sensing it, haven't you? You've been waking up at strange hours, your heart pounding for no reason. You've been brushing off the chills, ignoring the tug, dismissing the way your soul grows restless when certain names are mentioned. But now, the mystery is being unveiled. Someone has spoken a name in the dark, and it wasn't just any name, it was someone you love. The ritual was performed in silence, but its echo is loud in the spirit. The enemy moved last night. Under the cover of darkness, in secret rooms and in spiritual shadows, they drew a circle and whispered their intent. They did not chant loudly. No, this time they whispered. Why? Because this curse wasn't designed to confront with force. It was built to creep in with confusion, to plant suspicion, to fracture unity, to trigger delay, to cause emotional unrest. But now it is being interrupted by truth, by light, by heaven's voice. And now the question must be asked, who was near you that should not have been? Because here is the truth that heaven is now revealing. This ritual was not birthed by strangers. It was ignited by betrayal. Someone close. Someone who knows a version of your life. Someone who has seen your glow but resented your light. They carried your name into the dark, not out of power but out of envy. They thought you wouldn't feel it. They assumed you wouldn't notice. But your spirit did. That unrest you've been feeling, that uneasiness in your chest, that unexpected weariness, that's not stress, is spiritual interference. And it was allowed just long enough to get your attention. You are not paranoid. You are discerning. You are not overthinking. You are overhearing something from the invisible realm. You are not imagining things. You are receiving divine intelligence. This is confirmation of what you've already been sensing. You knew something was off. You knew something changed. You just couldn't put words to it until now. And the most dangerous part, they know something about you, but not all. They know parts of your past, but they do not know the fullness of your covering. They know pieces of your pain, but they are ignorant of the promise attached to your name. They saw your delays and assumed defeat. They saw your silence and mistook it for weakness. But they never saw the archangel assigned to your bloodline. They never heard the scrolls being opened in heaven. They never discerned that God had you hidden on purpose. Now the Spirit is drawing the line. This isn't just about them. It's about what is trying to slip through the cracks while you're distracted. That name, the one spoken in the ritual, is one you hold dear, and the only thing standing between the shadow and their soul is your awareness, your voice, your stillness. The mystery is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to provoke you to watchfulness. Because now you know, you are not imagining it. You are discerning it. You were right to feel it. And now you are called to stop it. Type "I stand" in the GAP in the comments if your spirit knows this word was for you. Blessing code 999 is now placed over your household. If this prophetic word has stirred something deep within you, then you know this isn't just a message. It's a spiritual mission. Every time someone supports this channel, through super thanks, membership, or a gift through PayPal, it's not helping us. It's helping heaven intercept another soul before the darkness lands. The harvest is real, and this is holy ground. As it is written, He gives seed to the sower. And if you've received a seed today, sowing back is how heaven multiplies it. I felt led to tell you this personally. Your giving today will not go unnoticed. The windows of heaven open for those who respond in faith. The link to give via PayPal is in the video description. Move with heaven. Bless what's blessing you. Rise with the message. Give like someone's soul depends on it, because it might. This is not random. This is not a strange week. This is not a fluke of timing. You must understand this with clarity, child of the Most High. This is war. This moment, this shaking, the sudden rise in tension and spiritual interference, it is not coincidence. It is a calculated confrontation. Hell is not attacking you because you're weak. Hell is attacking because you're dangerous. And not only you, but someone connected to you. Someone covered by your voice. Someone walking under the umbrella of your prayer life. This attack, it's personal, but it's also prophetic. Archangel Michael speaks. The reason this curse is forming, the reason this dark ritual hath been permitted to stir, is because you are being positioned. Not punished, positioned. You are standing at the intersection of destiny and disruption, and the enemy is trying to break what he cannot see clearly. But we see him. We note his tactics. We discern his schemes. And heaven has already drawn its sword in response to the whisper. You are not being cursed because of sin. You are being cursed because of calling. They see the movement in your life, and it threatens their grip. They sense the elevation rising around you, and it provokes their jealousy. They hear your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. They see you walking quietly, unaware of your authority, and that's what they fear the most. You don't even know your full strength yet, and still, you are disrupting their plans. But this moment is not just about exposure. It's about response. The Spirit says, this curse can only land where permission is given. And obedience is the doorway that seals or exposes. The enemy has released a dart, but it cannot pierce what heaven has armored. The ritual was spoken, but it cannot bind what heaven has marked. The name was whispered, but it cannot land where obedience has built a wall of fire. So the question remains, will you obey? Will you act? Will you stand still and listen, or will you collapse under noise? Archangel Michael hath been dispatched not only to warn, but to war on your behalf. But he does not war alone. He waits for your alignment. He waits for your stillness. He waits for your yes. Because in the realm of spirit, heaven's armies do not move apart from divine order, and that order begins with obedience. You cannot fight this with opinions. You cannot block it with intellect. This is not a natural problem. Some natural reactions will only worsen it. This is spiritual warfare, and your weapon is obedience. Listen closely. Your silence right now is not weakness. Your restraint is not passivity. You are not ignoring the situation. You are interrupting it. You are not walking away. You are handing it over. There are angels waiting for your stillness like runners at the sound of the gun. When you quiet your mouth, they roar into battle. When you hold your peace, they unsheathe their swords. When you refuse to retaliate with flesh, you release fire from heaven. The battle belongs to the Lord, but your stillness unlocks his strategy. Nothing about this is hidden from heaven. The ritual was not overlooked. The curse was not missed. The names spoken were written down in the courts of glory, and yours was listed not as a victim but as a gatekeeper. God knew you would hear this message. God knew you would be sensitive enough to recognize the stirring. And now heaven waits to see, what will you do with what you've heard? This is not paranoia. This is positioning. You are not losing your mind. You are gaining your mantle. You are not under attack because of what you've done wrong. You are under attack because of what you're about to do right. Type "I will obey" in the comments if you receive this part of the warning. Blessing code 1444 is now covering your mind and guarding your family. Within the next 72 hours, confrontation will escalate. There will be a rising pressure in the atmosphere. You will notice it. You will feel it. And if you're listening closely, you will discern the invisible hand trying to twist its way into your surroundings. Do not be deceived. What appeared still is now stirring. What seemed dormant is now awakening. The curse is no longer idle, it is looking for a place to land. Archangel Michael speaks again, not with calm, but with command. He does not whisper. He does not plead. He declares. The mark is moving, he says, and the target is someone you love. What was spoken in secret has reached the edge of manifestation. The ritual performed was not symbolic, it was strategic. The darkness summoned was not metaphorical, it was time. Last night, their name was uttered beneath veils of sorcery and sacrifice. And now the echo of that ritual is pressing through the thin veil between the natural and the supernatural. You must understand, this curse is not random. It was crafted, measured, aimed. There will be signs in the coming hours. Watch closely. It may come through a message, a sudden phone call that unsettles the atmosphere, a conversation that leaves a strange residue on your spirit. It may arrive through a visit. Someone from the past reappears, a familiar face but with unfamiliar energy. It may erupt through conflict, an argument that seems out of place, a sudden misunderstanding that feels too sharp to be normal. These are not coincidences. These are manifestations. The curse is moving, searching for agreement, looking for open doors. And this is where your awareness becomes your weapon. Every word you speak in this hour either fortifies your house or fractures your protection. Every reaction is either a gate or a wall. Be still. Be sober. The temptation will be to confront in the flesh, but you must rise in the spirit. Because right now, the dark is betting on your emotion. It is gambling that you will act out of fear, frustration, or fatigue. But you will not, because you have heard the warning. You are awake. You are watching. There is a ticking clock in the spirit realm. The ritual released a countdown. And if obedience is not activated, what was spoken will descend. But if you respond with spiritual alignment, if you stay still, stay silent, stay prayerful, then what was meant to destroy will turn and devour itself. The curse will loop back. The fire will return to sender. The weapon will be reversed, and the ritual will be overwritten by heaven's decree. Make no mistake. The enemy knows your potential. That's why he's targeting those around you. This isn't just about a person. It's about your peace. If the enemy can destabilize your love, he can distract your power. But if you hold position, if you guard your gate, if you stay in alignment, then heaven's fire will drop like judgment on every altar that dared mention their name. Now is the hour to watch. Now is the hour to wait. Now is the hour to wage war in silence. Do not speak unless the Spirit leads. Do not engage unless the angel confirms. The enemy is baiting you into natural conflict so you miss your spiritual command. But Archangel Michael is already moving. He has drawn a bay. The fire has been lit. And the altar of heaven is now responding to the altar of shadows. Let it be known, the confrontation has already begun. It is not a question of if, but how you will respond that determines the outcome. Type "I am a watchman" in the comments if you understand the urgency. Blessing code 888 is now defending your gates from every sudden attack. Hear this now with full attention. You do not win this war by noise. You win it by knowing. You do not shield your loved one by flailing your arms in panic. You shield them by shutting the gates of distraction and positioning your soul in silence and strength. For the Spirit of God says, be still. Be still. Be still. Heaven fights when you don't. This is the moment where obedience becomes your fortress. Stillness becomes your shield. And silence becomes your sword. Do not underestimate the power of what you do not say in this hour. There is an invisible line between preservation and exposure, and it is drawn by restraint. The enemy wants your reaction. The enemy wants your eruption. He wants you caught in a web of words, opinions, justifications, and emotional discharges. But if you remain still, you cut off the oxygen supply to his strategy. You must withdraw from the chatter. Pull back from gossip. Step away from fruitless conversations. Cut the cord on that phone call that pulls your spirit into unrest. Mute the voice of confusion. Detach from the drama that keeps knocking at your door. This is not the time to entertain offense. This is not the time to prove a point. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Not now. Not when the heavens are roaring and the sword of Michael is hovering over your house. Your protection is being formed not in argument, but in atmosphere. The angels do not dwell in noise. They dwell in reverence. They respond to the fragrance of stillness, the scent of prayer, the aroma of a soul that has chosen discernment over defense. Archangel Michael is not only fighting, he is hovering, waiting for the atmosphere to remain clear, undisturbed, unhindered by the chaos of your words or the tension of your thoughts. This is where spiritual maturity becomes your mantle. You may feel things that deserve a reaction, but you are not called to react, you are called to rule. Royalty does not respond to every voice. Kings and queens do not explain themselves to enemies already defeated. And you are crowned in this moment with prophetic restraint. So how do you protect? You pray in whispers. You war in worship. You speak in the Spirit. You keep your soul anchored in divine routines, anointing your doorposts, turning off the noise, hiding your phone in the secret place, walking away from conversations that don't carry the oil of God's presence. The Holy Spirit is recalibrating your reactions. Every moment you choose restraint, a wall of fire is built around your family. Every moment you pause instead of pounce, heaven positions another angel to encamp around you. Hear this clearly. No curse can land where heaven is standing guard. No darkness can dwell where light is magnified. And light is not loud. Light is consistent. Your loved one is not unprotected. They are being surrounded. But it is your posture that determines the thickness of the shield. Your stillness gives heaven legal right to intervene without interference. Do not argue with what God is silencing. Do not speak over what God is handling. Do not give commentary on what God has already judged. This ritual that was done, it cannot complete its work unless you open the gate with your mouth. So don't. Seal your lips with oil. Anchor your soul in silence. And let the angels do what only angels can do. Fight while you rest. Guard while you sleep. Shield while you pray. You are not alone. You are not helpless. You are not exposed. You are hidden. You are sealed. You are watched over. And the one you love, the one whose name was spoken in the ritual, they are being rescued by your refusal to react. Let heaven finish what it started. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if you receive this instruction. Blessing code 555 is now surrounding your home in a circle of fire. The time of trembling is passing. The days of doubt are over. The enemy has calculated based on who you were, not who you've become. They crafted their ritual from a blueprint that no longer exists. They summoned spirits against an older version of you, unaware that heaven has since upgraded your rank. That's why the curse is struggling to lion. That's why the shadows are growing restless. They called for victim, but a warrior answered. They whispered about weakness, but strength stood up. You are not who they think you are anymore. Archangel Michael speaks again. They thought they knew you. They thought they could trace your movements, manipulate your peace, provoke your reaction. But I have seen your name written in fire. I have seen the oil poured over your head. I have stood beside you in silence while you wept in seasons of crushing. I know what's been built inside of you, and I testify now, you are no longer hiding. You are rising. This isn't just a battle. This is evidence that you've crossed into a realm they were never prepared for. The enemy launched an attack based on your last season, but heaven has transitioned you. You've walked through fire and didn't burn. You've been stripped and still stood. You've been betrayed but didn't break. The shaking didn't shatter you. It sanctified you. What they thought was weakness was refinement. but they saw the silence was surrender to the Spirit. Listen closely. The very fact that the enemy had to use a ritual proves how far you've come. They can no longer manipulate your emotions the way they used to. They can't slander you and expect you to spiral. They can't mention your name in low places and expect high consequences. The reason they turn to rituals is because your natural environment no longer responds to their natural weapons. They had to reach deeper into darkness because you've been lifted higher in light. This attack is not a sign of weakness, it's confirmation of spiritual evolution. Heaven is not responding to a victim. Heaven is backing a victor. You are not fragile. You are not broken. You are not naive. You are awakened. You are dangerous to darkness. You carry authority, not just for yourself, but for those assigned to your voice. That's why this curse targeted someone you love, because your prayer life became impenetrable, so they sought a weaker entry point. But they underestimated the range of your dominion. They didn't know that your spiritual covering had expanded. They didn't know that your obedience created a firewall around your household. Let your fear die now. Let the intimidation break. Let the echo of their words fall silent in the face of your awareness. You're not just surviving this. You're standing taller because of it. This isn't happening to crush you. It's happening to reveal you. You're not a victim hiding. You're a warrior rising. The curse is evidence of the crown. The ritual is confirmation of your rank. The resistance is the state for your revealing. And while they plot in secret, heaven is promoting you in public. Do not retreat. Do not bow your head. Do not minimize your voice. You've been in the fire long enough. And now you emerge. Type "I am rising" in the comments if your spirit agrees with this shift. Blessing code 3131 is now releasing divine strength into your soul. There is a truth that has been hidden from you, until now. And though the enemy whispered a curse, heaven allowed it to be heard for a reason. This was not simply an act of spiritual warfare. This was a divine permission slip. Not for your destruction, but for your elevation. Because the Spirit of the Lord declares, what came to curse you is the very thing that will confirm you. You are not under attack because you're weak. You are under attack because you're on the edge of a gate, a spiritual unlocking, a threshold moment that cannot be crossed without resistance. You were not warned tonight just to avoid danger. You were warned because you are about to be positioned in a place of unprecedented visibility and spiritual authority. That's why the ritual had to happen. That's why the name of your loved one had to be mentioned. Because you were about to rise, and hell knew it before you did. Archangel Michael speaks now with fire in his tone. The ritual exposed what heaven has been preparing. You were being elevated in silence, but now the enemy's panic has pulled the curtain open. I saw it. In the spirit realm, the enemy saw the increase, the acceleration, the favor, the oil beginning to run thicker. They sensed the pages turning. They heard your name being echoed in the council rooms of heaven. And so they launched a premature attack. An act of desperation, not strength. Because even hell knows your name is known in heaven. What the enemy meant for harm, God has already routed for favor. This isn't just a setback. This is a setup for sudden reversal, for spiritual promotion, for divine clarity. You thought you were just surviving a spiritual attack, but heaven reveals now. This attack was the doorway into your next dimension. And listen to this. The curse that was spoken has already begun to backfire. The ritual did not just summon darkness. It unintentionally exposed the hidden enemy. Those who were cloaked in counterfeit love, those who smiled and spoke your name with flattery but carried poison beneath their breath, have now been brought to light. This attack drew them out. This event exposed what your discernment has been whispering about for months. You didn't imagine it, now it's confirmed. And now they've revealed themselves not to you but to heaven. There is a record of this betrayal in the courts of God. And now, what was hidden is being judged. The spiritual case has been opened. The angels have submitted evidence. And your obedience, your stillness, has given heaven jurisdiction to act. This is not the end. This is the unlocking. You are stepping into the next level, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, prophetically. You will dream differently after this. You will pray differently after this. You will walk differently after this. Because now, your authority has caught up to your identity. And the one who was targeted, the one you love, is being surrounded even now. Heaven is not only protecting them, heaven is reassigning angels to their name. Because your obedience gave God legal right to move. What the enemy tried to curse, heaven will now crown. What was meant to fall will now rise. What was exposed will now be vindicated. Do not fear this moment. Step into it. Type "I am unlocked" in the comments if you receive this revelation. Blessing Code 2024 is now releasing divine favor over your next season. If this prophetic word has opened your eyes, if you feel the oil of heaven confirming every word in your spirit, then know this: you're not just hearing a message, you're part of a movement. Every time you give, whether through a super thanks, by joining membership, or sowing directly through PayPal, you are helping light shine in places where darkness is trying to whisper. This isn't charity, this is spiritual warfare funding. Heaven honors givers who support the word that awakens souls. Just as in Scripture, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. I feel it in the Spirit. Someone's breakthrough will be unlocked because you responded in obedience. The PayPal link is in the video description. Don't wait. Move with the message. Align with the anointing. Help us speak light into the dark. There is a moment in every divine assignment where the heavens go silent and wait. Not because they've left you, but because they are waiting for your yes. Your agreement, your alignment, your activation. This is that moment. The silence you're feeling isn't abandonment, it's anticipation. Archangel Michael stands now at the edge of the threshold, his sword blazing, his wings extended, and he says, "We cannot go further until you speak, until you agree, until you declare. You've been warned. You've been awakened. You've been shown the strategy of the enemy and the covering of heaven. But now it is time to speak it into activation. Because in the realm of the Spirit, nothing moves without permission, and nothing breaks without declaration. Your voice is not weak. It is prophetic artillery. And right now, that artillery must be fired. Not with chaos, not with complaint, but with covenant. Heaven has already drawn near. The angels are already surrounding the one whose name was spoken. The altar of darkness has already cracked. But the fire only falls when there is a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is your obedient declaration. This is the moment you say aloud, not in fear, but in holy defiance. I align with heaven. I activate protection. I release the blood of Jesus over the one I love. I revoke the curse. I reverse the ritual. I stand in covenant with the Most High. And when you speak it, something shifts. Every time you pray in this hour, a sword is lifted in the unseen realm. Every time you fast, another wall is built around your house. Every moment you anoint your doorpost, the spirit of death is denied access. These acts are not religious rituals, they are activation keys. You are not just reacting to darkness, you are commanding the light. But understand this, silence at the wrong time is agreement. Delay in the spirit is dangerous. Indecision is not neutral, it is spiritual exposure. That is why the urgency has built to this moment. That is why Archangel Michael was dispatched to warn you, to awaken you, and now, to empower you. Your destiny is voice activated. Your protection is obedience triggered. Your atmosphere is waiting for a declaration. And heaven will only move as far as you allow. God does not need your perfection. He needs your position. He needs your yes spoken not with trembling lips, but with boldness rooted in trust. You do not have to feel ready. You only have to be willing. The ritual was a counterfeit declaration, but now it must be overwritten with a holy decree. And you are the one chosen to speak it. Lift your voice. Open your mouth. Say aloud, even now, I am covered. My family is covered. My bloodline is sealed. The one I love is protected. No curse can land where God reigns. I am in covenant, and I am not afraid. The darkness has waited for your silence, but heaven has waited for your agreement. Say yes. Say it with conviction. Say it without apology. And as your voice rises, the sound echoes across the courts of heaven, and the angels move. The curse breaks. The name is sealed, and your next season is born. Type yes, I align in the comments if this is your moment of activation. Blessing code 1010 is now releasing angelic backup on your behalf. There are things happening right now that cannot be traced with sight or sound. There are movements, transactions, and heavenly exchanges unfolding in the silence, and they are all happening because of you. While your mind has wrestled and your body has felt weary, your spirit has been in motion, and heaven has been responding to that motion with divine intelligence. Archangel Michael now leans close, and his voice drops into the frequency of mystery. The exchange has already begun. Yes, even before you spoke, even before you knew what happened last night, even before the ritual was uncovered and the urgency was revealed, heaven had already begun moving in secret to counter what was whispered in darkness. For the word says, He gives His angels charge over you to guard you in all your ways. That charge was not delayed. It was deployed while you were unaware. While you slept, heaven kept watch. While you wept, heaven recorded. While you questioned, heaven was writing your rescue. You were not abandoned in the night. You were covered. And even now, while you sit in silence or listen in reflection, a supernatural reversal is taking place. There are angels at work in places you will never see. Names are being rewritten. Assignments of darkness are being revoked. That curse, that ritual, that whispered intention, it created a breach. Yes, but it also gave heaven permission to intervene with overwhelming force because your alignment triggered the defense. In the spirit realm, there are scrolls being unsealed. There is a divine record that is being updated in your favor. The enemy planned to steal something precious, perhaps a relationship, a calling, a future, a child, a marriage, a mantle. But because you listened, because you obeyed, because you silenced your flesh and opened your spirit, the thing is being returned. There is a holy exchange taking place. What they tried to curse is now being crowned. What was meant to be fractured is being fused with fire. The Spirit of God says, I have not forgotten your tears. I have not overlooked the one you love. I have heard your inner groanings even when your lips did not form words. That is what made this exchange legal. It wasn't a perfect prayer that moved heaven. It was a surrendered heart. Your trust was the currency. Your obedience was the offering. Your stillness was the incense. In places you'll never go, angels are walking. In conversations you'll never hear, your name is being cleared. In atmospheres you'll never feel, your loved one is being shielded. This is not fantasy. This is not fiction. This is real warfare in the invisible realm, and you are not a bystander. You are a participant. Even now, there are items being pulled from the enemy's hands. Documents, decisions, plots, poison. What they tried to plant is being uprooted. What they tried to seal is being shattered. And most of all, what was stolen, the peace, the joy, the spiritual inheritance, is being returned to you with interest. Let this truth settle in your soul. The exchange is silent, but the results will be loud. The next few days may feel quiet, but don't mistake the silence for inactivity. It is the hush of holy operations. It is the stillness before visible victory. And soon, very soon, you will see the fruit of what has already shifted in the heavens. Type the exchange is mine in the comments if you know your spirit has received this moment. Blessing code 1717 is now initiating divine return over what was lost. Now hear this with absolute clarity. Heaven does not ignore injustice. God is not mocked. What was whispered in darkness will be judged in light. What was plotted in secret will be repaid in full. There is a moment in every divine battle where mercy gives way to justice, and that moment is now unfolding. The angels are not only defending, they are recording. And every curse, every ritual, every scheme spoken against you and the one you love is being reversed, returned, and routed back to the sender. Not out of hatred, not out of vengeance, but out of divine order. Archangel Michael speaks again, not just as a messenger, but as a witness to judgment. The scale has tipped. The sword is lifted. What they called forth from hell will now visit their own doorstep, and it will not touch the innocent. It will not touch the covered. It will not touch the sealed. You must understand, the ritual they performed did not vanish. It became evidence. And now the judge of heaven has rendered his verdict. For too long, they operated under the delusion that your silence was weakness. They mistook your grace as ignorance. They assumed your delay in response meant spiritual passivity. But what they didn't see was that your restraint was a courtroom strategy. God allowed it, so he could bring it all into the open. And now that it's exposed, justice is moving swiftly. Every spoken word in the ritual, now a boomerang in the spirit. Every curse woven in secrecy, now unraveling, and returning like a whip. Every intention to harm, delay, confuse, divide, now being collected, multiplied, and sent back into the very covens and circles from which they came. This is not superstition. This is not karma. This is biblical justice. And no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. This is that prophecy fulfilled. But it's deeper than personal vindication. This is about the name of God being honored. This is about the glory of the Lord being revealed through your protection. You were the vessel. You were the tardy. And now, you are the sign. What was meant to crush you has become your confirmation. What was designed to silence you has become the sound of your authority. And the very people who watched you quietly suffer will now watch you publicly rise. Do not rejoice in their downfall. That is not your assignment. But do not weep for the consequences either. They chose war in the spirit, and the law of sowing and reaping cannot be revoked. The difference is that you sowed obedience, and now you shall reap covering, clarity, and divine compensation. And they sowed darkness, manipulation, and witchcraft, and they shall reap the storm they sent. Even now, in realms beyond your sight, the enemy is panicking. They feel the return before it touches them. They sense the fire before it falls. And yet, heaven delays not. What was allowed in the night has been judged by the morning. The curse has not landed. It has boomeranged. The target has not fallen. They have been lifted. And the name spoken in the ritual is now sealed in light. The scales are balanced. The judgment is final. The reversal is complete. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if this reversal belongs to your household. Blessing code 1818 is now releasing divine vengeance and protection over everything concerning you. The warning has been spoken. The sword has been drawn. The gates have been guarded. And now, the mantle rests upon you. September 13 will not be remembered as the day a curse landed. It will be remembered as the day heaven invaded to intercept it. The moment when God reached through time and through technology to speak one-on-one with the one he trusted, with you. The ritual was real. The threat was real. The name was spoken. But even more real was the response of heaven. Archangel Michael did not wait for your perfection. He waited for your posture. And when you responded with silence, stillness, and obedience, it triggered a wave of divine movement that not even darkness could decode. The loved one who was targeted is now hidden in the cleft of the rock. Their name, once whispered in a ritual, is now roared over by angels. Their soul has been encircled by light, and their destiny is untouchable. His message was never meant to stir panic. It was sent to restore your power, to remind you who you are, to awaken your memory. You are not helpless. You are not fragile. You are not overlooked. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. God chose you as the one who would rise when others remained asleep. You heard the trumpet call in the spirit and said yes when others shrugged it off. You stood in the gap while curses tried to cross over. You interceded when heaven was watching. And because of your obedience, the atmosphere around your life has now been altered. The spell has shattered. The name has been cleared. The future has been preserved. Let no fear remain in you. Let no confusion linger. Let no doubt circle your mind. Archangel Michael has delivered the message, and now his assignment concerning this battle is complete. The sword returns to the sheath. The angels resume their guard, and heaven declares, "It is done." Now rise. Rise in clarity. Rise in joy. Rise in purpose. Walk boldly into the days ahead, knowing this: no ritual, no word curse, no whisper in the dark can override what God has sealed in His light. You were not only protected, you were commissioned. And those who rise from the battlefield with the blessings still intact are those God sends to others next. You are a deliverer now. You are a watchman now. You are a warrior of light. And the one you love, they are safe. Because you heard, because you acted, because you rose. Type "I am" sealed in the comments if this message was your divine confirmation. Blessing code 9999 is now closing every gate that darkness tried to enter. As this word comes to a close, if it ignited your spirit, if it shielded your home, if it confirmed what your soul already knew, then don't just walk away. Stand with this mission. Every super thanks, every membership, every seed sown through PayPal doesn't support a channel. It fuels a battlefield where light is declared, truth is released, and souls are intercepted from destruction. This message was sent from heaven, but it is sustained by obedience on earth. Those who bless a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And I believe those who sow into this anointed ground will see miraculous reversals and unexpected breakthroughs. The PayPal link is in the description. Step into it. Sow into it. And watch what God does next. Your obedience will echo louder than the enemy's attack.